Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at Kentucky Derby contender Mo Donegal. And Mike, from day one, we had a feeling that Mo Donegal was going to love lots of distance, and he hasn't disappointed yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. You could actually tell in his they started him off sprinting, Dan. You could tell in that race that he did not want to sprint, and he got good immediately when they gave him more ground.
Of course, he won the Remsen as a 2-year-old, going 1 1/8. And in his most recent start, the stretch run we're going to show you right now, he captured the Grade 2 Wood Memorial at Aqueduct, also at 1 1/8. We watched the Wood Memorial, and Mike, he got a beautiful ride from Joel Rosario this day. Early voting got loose. Mo Donegal was able to save valuable ground, got out at just the right time. But still, Mo Donegal had to run down a nice horse, and he did so, and that's a very good sign.
Yeah, he had to run down a nice horse who had a pretty big advantage on him too, Dan. Rosario made all the right moves here after, having a little bit of trouble at the start, getting sort of forced in and being forced to take back a little bit. But after that, he just gave him a great trip. He got him clear in time, and Mo Donegal did the rest. This horse has finished really strongly in all of his races so far, and that was the Wood Memorial was no exception.
While some folks were disappointed by his seasonal debut, the Holy Bull, where he was third as the favorite behind White Abarrio in Simplification, I think you could look at that race and put a positive spin on it. A, he equaled the career best buyer that he received in the Remsen, a 90. B, I really don't think Gulfstream Park plays to his strengths. He's sort of a late runner. That's a track that favors speed and trackers. And C, it's not like he was completely embarrassed. Once he got on track at the end of that race, he was running.
Yeah, that's the thing about his Holy Bull. It was, maybe a little disappointing just that he was never a real threat to win the race at any point. But even in that spot, Dan, he was finishing better than everyone at the end of that race. It just, for whatever reason, maybe being off the layoff, he wasn't quite as sharp. But it just took him forever to get on track in that race. Once he did, he really finished up pretty well.
He is a bit slow out of the gate, however. We've seen that in a few of his starts, and maybe it actually led to some of the trouble in the Wood Memorial. How concerning is that? It has to be a concern in the Kentucky Derby, where we've seen so many times in the past, if you're off even a half step slow, the next thing you know, you have 18 horses in front of you, and it's real tough to win like that.
Yeah, you don't want to break slowly from the gate, that's for sure. So they're going to have to make sure that he gets out of there, at least breaks it running. He's not going to be up near the pace, Dan. But I think it's at least worth pointing out. I mean, he's a closer for sure, but he's not a plotter. This isn't a horse who gets totally outrun early in his races. He can get himself into a good position and make sure he doesn't have too much to do in the stretch.
Rosario, of course, rode him in the Wood Memorial. Mo Donegal will be reunited in the Kentucky Derby with Arad Ortiz, who is aboard for his victory in the Remsen. And what I've noticed about the Remsen and also the Wood Memorial, Mike, is not only does this horse run hard in the stretch, not only does this horse have ability, he kind of wants to beat you too. And I think that is a big plus, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He really doesn't mind a good fight through the stretch. The other thing that I like about him too, and Dan, it sort of also plays back to those 2 9-furlong races in New York, the Remsen and the Wood. He doesn't mind sitting in behind horses and taking a lot of dirt in his face. He'll do that for as long as you want him to, and then once you get him out into the clear, he'll run.
Do you think this is a horse that might sort of fall between the cracks from a wagering standpoint? I know the Wood Memorial hasn't been a very productive Derby race, maybe over the last 15 years or so, but this is a horse trained by Todd Pletcher, who's winning a major prep in his last start with a competitive buyer speed figure. But something tells me he is going to be a good price on Derby Day.
Yeah, I sort of felt the same way. I mean, we'll see how that all shakes out. I did sort of feel like of the horses who, who at least to me feel like they're sort of towards the top of this division right now, and I do think Mo Donegal is one of those. I thought he might be the one that maybe doesn't take as much money as some of the others. And maybe that's just a little bit of wishful thinking, Dad, because I really like this horse. But at the same time, I mean, he doesn't have the flashy figures and he doesn't have those, big blowout wins either. I mean, this horse is working hard to get the job done at the end.
You took the words out of my mouth. He's a very professional horse. He loves distance. Some might say he's a bit workmanlike. I think he's better than that. He isn't as flashy as some of the others, and he isn't as fast as some of the others. Where do you rank him among the leaders of the division? You believe he's in the upper echelon. Do you see him, and I'm not going to hold you to anything right now so early out from the Derby, do you see him using this horse?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's one of the ones, and as we've already sort of touched on, I feel like he might be of the horses, at the top tier. I think he's one of the ones who, might not take too much money to make him sort of an unattractive price come Derby Day. I think there's a lot to like about this horse.
I know you like handicapping trips. He had a very good trip in the Wood Memorial after the opening furlong or so. Does that concern you? Do you think that maybe the trip kind of did the work for him in the Wood Memorial, and he needs to show that he can overcome adversity?
No, I didn't. I didn't think that. I didn't look at the Wood that way at all. I mean, he's, again, I do feel like Joe Rosario made all the right moves, but this horse had trouble at the start. He was away from a
Mm.
horse who was absolutely loose on the lead, and he still had work to do in the final furlong when he finally got clear. And this horse overcame all of that stuff. And I would go back to his Remsen last year too. There was nothing wrong with that trip, but a really good horse that day in Zandon got the jump on this horse, and Mo Donegal came and got him.
Mo Donegal never off the board from 5 lifetime starts, 2 graded wins at a mile and an eighth, trained by Todd Pletcher, and yet could still be lurking under the radar as it pertains to the 2022 Kentucky Derby.